I first met Matt, I guess it was 2 or 3 days after I started going to school, and I was standing in line. We were having an ice cream social, which, you know, I thought sounded sort of weird. I didn't even know if I wanted to go, but it's free ice cream, and I love ice cream.
There was an ice cream social one night, and my roommate and I, you know, I had known my roommate previously, you know, met him a couple times. We were kind of familiar with each other. We decided we were going to go off to this ice cream social and try and meet some people. And so Amy was there with a couple of her friends, and, you know, she's very pretty. She's wearing a shirt that says, "I love nerds."
So he was standing in line in front of me, and one of his roommates, another baseball player, Justin, was reading my shirt. I was wearing this green shirt that said, "I love nerds" on it. And he's like, "Well, I'm a nerd," and was trying to get my friend and I's attention. And
so she kind of turned away from him and looked at the guy he was with, because she's like, "Well, he's weird, so I'll talk to this guy."
I started talking to Matt, I started talking to him, and they introduced themselves and, you know, said we should hang out. And, you know, I wasn't really looking for anything then, so I sort of brushed it off. But that was the first time we met, and I guess it was about a week later. I was in the cafeteria, and I sat next to him, and I started talking to him, and I remember that's the first time I really started to notice him and think, you know, hey, this guy is pretty cool.
It took us a couple weeks to really start going out, but, you know, we hung out, we went to the river and, you know, swam in the river. We watched some TV, we watched some like shows together. Sometimes she'd come over to the dorm room. So that's kind of how we started.
He bugged me for forever to hang out with him. He would always say, "Come over, let's watch Laguna Beach," which he hates Laguna Beach. Like, he hates shows like that. And, you know, "Let's watch The Real World," really trying to get me to come over and hang out with him. And, you know, I said, "No, that's okay," for a couple of weeks. And then one night he changed his approach, and he said, "Well, can you help me with my New Testament homework? You know, I've got to find like 5 different Bibles. I don't know which one to use." And so I said, "Okay, you know, come on over, I'll help you with that." We sat there, I helped him with homework for a little bit. I was actually making brownies. I don't know if I was trying to scare him off, but I was making brownies, and I decided that I wasn't going to cook them. I was just going to sit there and eat the batter. And so I was so disgusting. But I sat there and, you know, showed him how to do his homework, and, you know, I was sitting there just spooning that batter in his mouth. And I don't know why he wanted to hang out with me after that. I remember he said he went back to his roommate and said, "You know, this girl is not going to gain the freshman 10, she's going to gain the freshman 50. He really thought that it was crazy what I was doing. He hates batter, like any kind of batter. So, you know, I was pretty shocked that he wanted to hang out after that, but he did. And I guess, you know, after that time, there weren't many days at Gardner Webb that we spent apart.
If you only knew I'm hanging by a thread, the web I spin for you. If you only knew I'd sacrifice my beating heart before I'd lose you.
Gardner Webb University is really special to Matt and I. It's where we first met, and we decided to come here because of, you know, for me, tennis, and for him, baseball. Our dorms were pretty close together, and right in the middle of the campus is a quad, and so we'd meet there at night, and we'd sit out on this bench and we'd talk for hours. I think there was one week where we sat out there and we talked until 2 or 3 in the morning every night, you know, when we first started dating, really getting to know each other. I'm from Kingsport, Tennessee. I grew up in a very small town there. I lived there until I was in the 7th grade, and one day, I remember it was after basketball practice, my dad said, "You know, Amy, I've got some news for you. We're going to be moving to Singapore, and we're going to be living there for 3 years." And I was a little nervous, and, you know, I told all my friends, you know, I don't want to move, but I was really excited about it. Moved to Singapore in the 8th grade, and I lived there for 1 year. We were supposed to be there for 3, but after being there for a year, they said, "We want you to move to Japan now." And so we picked up our stuff, we moved to Tokyo, which I was a little nervous about because I knew that people spoke English for the most part in Singapore, but I'd heard it was a little tougher in Tokyo, so I was worried, am I going to be able to get around, you know, am I going to like it? But I love Tokyo. It was one of my favorite places to live, and I lived there for 2 years in high school when I was a freshman and a sophomore, and then moved back to Tennessee to really focus on my tennis. And I really wanted to get a scholarship. I'd been playing for my whole life and wanted to move back to Tennessee so I could try to get the ranking up to get into school. My family, I have 3 other people in my family, my mom, dad, and my younger sister, Allie, who's my best friend. She's, you know, we fought a little bit for a while until we moved overseas, and that really brought us close together. We spend a lot of time together when we can and talk on the phone a lot. My mom is very sweet. She's always looking for ways to help me, and then my dad and I are a lot alike. We're both very stubborn. You know, when we believe something, we'll argue it to death, but I'm very, very close with my whole family.
Joke, I'd like to buy the world a token, teach the world to sing in perfect harmony.
I was born in Hartford, Connecticut, and yeah, I lived there until I was about 7 years old. Then I moved down to Georgia. I lived there until I was about 10 years old. Then my family and I, we moved back up to Wilmington, North Carolina, and I've been living there ever since.
Show me what it's like, the last one standing, teach me wrong.
When I was growing up, all I really cared about was baseball. It's what I lived for, it's what I did every day.
Say it for me, say it to me, and I'll leave this life behind me. Say it if it's worth saving me.
My first college home run was at the University of Georgia. It was in a 17-inning game. We had lost, it was a 3-game series. We lost the night before. The next game we were tied, we were going to the 16th inning. I think I hit a home run in the 16th inning. That put us up a couple runs, and we ended up winning that game. And then we won the next game the next day, so we beat University of Georgia 2 out of 3. And my first college home run.
Please, I'm calling all I need from you.
I've got 2 younger brothers. My middle brother, his name is Tony. He is 21. He just turned 21 in February. So he goes to college at Elon University. He's a chemistry major. He's probably one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. I brag about him all the time to people, and you know, he's the president of the American Chemistry Society, Elon chapter. My youngest brother is Alex. He is 16 years old. Recently just got his driver's license, so that's a little scary, but no, he's a good kid. He's doing well. He's in high school. He's going to be a senior next year. It's in the summer now, so he's going to be a senior next year. My parents will be very emotional. My dad is a crier. My mom is a crier, so my mom's going to be crying. My dad will probably tear up. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun to see. It's going, they're going to be very emotional, but they're going to be very happy. With me being the first one in the family to get married, it's kind of I think it's kind of a shock to them to think that one of their kids is really old enough now to be moving like this. And my middle brother's only 2 years behind me, so it's kind of like, wow, now Matthew's getting married. Now what's going to happen with Tony in a couple of years? So they're kind of realizing how far along we are, and how good a job they did in raising us. So.
Over the ground lies a mantle of white.
I proposed in New York City. I found this actually was, I had talked to my family about it before, and I was trying to get, ideas, and because, I knew how I wanted it to be, and I wanted to make sure that I thought about it well enough, and everything was to detail. And my uncle had actually, suggested to me maybe they have this dinner cruise that cruises around the island, Manhattan. So I was like, wow, that's cool. So I looked into it.
And so Matt had said, Amy, maybe we'll take your sister and her boyfriend on a cruise around the city. That way they don't get so tired. And so he hit it really well. He really disguised it well. And we were on the cruise, and it was snowing. There was a crazy blizzard going on.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It's totally messing up my whole plan. I wanted to do it out on the, on the outside of the boat, right there with the, the city lights in the background, kind of like picture perfect, real nice. But it's snowing. It's freezing. It's like 20 degrees. It's windy. So we get to the Statue of Liberty. We eat dinner. We get to the Statue of Liberty. We go outside. We try and go outside and take pictures in front of it. And it's so cold, we couldn't even smile. It hurt our teeth to smile. So we go back inside and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do this? I have this ring in my pocket.
It finally let up enough to where we could see the skyline in the background. And I love pictures. And so I don't know if it was my idea or his idea, or if he made it seem like my idea, but somehow we decided to go outside on the deck in the snow and try to get pictures of the city in the background. And so my sister's taking these pictures of us, and we were getting ready to go back inside because it was really cold. And he said, hold on 1 second before we go back inside, I want to ask you something. And I got really excited because, as soon as he said that, I sort of knew.
We ended up that we went out there, we took a picture, and then before we went back in, I got down on one knee and I proposed, and kind of hoped that I didn't slip and drop the ring in the ocean, in the water.
He got down on one knee and he told me that I was his best friend and that he wanted to get married and spend his life with me. And it was really one of the most touching moments of my life. It was really, really sweet.
Her reaction was just shock. I think she expected it eventually for me to propose, but not at that time, I don't think. It didn't even really hit her at first. She was just kind of overwhelmed. Just smiles, the biggest smile I've ever seen. It was a great feeling.
I'm watching a lot of wedding shows. I'm watching Say Yes to the Dress all the time.
I try and get a couple back massages out of watching them. That's kind of like my reward for watching the shows, is I get a little back massage.
We chose to have our wedding at Lake Lure, Rumbling Ball Resort, and my tennis coach was actually the one who told me about it. I'd always loved Dirty Dancing, and one day we were driving in the van to a tennis tournament, and he said, oh, there's Lake Lure, that's where they filmed Dirty Dancing. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And they've got the cutest little church. It's a white church, and it's got beautiful stained glass windows, and that was really important for me because I really wanted to be able to get married in a church but then have a beautiful background as well. I'm really looking forward to when I first walk down the aisle, of course, Matt seeing me for the first time. And I'm also looking forward to the reception. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, spending time with our family and friends, and really, getting to see everyone who's come here to spend the day with us.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most is definitely her walking down the aisle at first. I'm very interested to see what this dress looks like. I've been the only person not allowed to see this dress, so I'm very excited to see the dress and see how she looks. I'm sure she's going to look fabulous. But and then the reception, we don't see a lot of our family a whole lot, being up where we are. So it's going to be great to see everybody, be able to talk to everybody, catch up, see friends we haven't seen in a long time. So I think that's the thing that I'm most excited about as well.
We want to have kids when, I think 28, 29, no, we want to have girls.
Boys.
Definitely.
Baseball players.
That's the one thing
players.
we talk about a lot, is whether we're going to have boys or girls, and if we do have them, what sports they're going to play.
I'm waking through another door I walk into, I can't break. And it's a winding road, and it's a long way home. So don't wait for someone to tell you it's too late, 'cause these are the best days. There's always something tomorrow, so I say let's make the best of it. Don't wait, 'cause no one can tell you it's too late, 'cause these are the Here comes the rest of our lives.